I'm going to cover YouTube and Google's behavior problem and that they are attempting to stop conspiracy theories and fake news. And they do exactly the same thing every time you log in and they say, oh, we're here to help you. Please help us have some more features so that you can confirm your account. That means you check your email and you find out your video has been removed because they've declared it spam or a virus or a lie or whatever. If I debunk a conspiracy theory, I can't do it without mentioning the conspiracy theory. So I'm going to redo a video they just tore down because why not? I do the right thing, I get punished anyway. Liberty was curtailed for years in order to protect the nation and its people during World War II. Americans accepted government-imposed rationing of food, coffee, rubber, and gasoline. They accepted the president's authority to seize factories where strikes impeded production and Washington dictated wages and prices. This is literally something that happened. As of today, 75% of Americans prefer to keep trying to slow the spread of the coronavirus, even if that means keeping many businesses closed. Limitations that would normally be intolerable are justifiable in an emergency, but protesters pretend that the threat is minimal or that the whole crisis is a plot to turn America into a giant gulag, or a distraction to try to keep people from voting for Donald Trump, or any other excuse other than this is your reality you're dealing with, deal with it. They insist they should be free to make their own choices on matters that end up affecting others' health, as has been shown. The right to go about their lives as they choose, even if it means contracting coronavirus and giving it to others, most of the time without knowing it. According to some estimations, 80% of the time a person gets it, they don't know they have it, which means the actual death rate from this is insanely low comparatively. Well, no, actually it isn't. It really isn't. But you can make that assertion. Now, I'm going to be reading back the assertions other people made. Now, I'm going to remind everybody here, my video I'm doing over here was torn down because I was debunking a conspiracy theory. The basics of this are really simple. If a disease is running rampant in the population and has any kind of death rate, you want to stop it or slow it down until you can figure out, get some breathing room and figure out what to do. If it's a disease that infects people and makes them unknowingly infectious, that's bad. Now, I'm going to bring up something, an assertion that other people have made on other channels, but not on this one, because they didn't bother posting it. Well, if it makes you sick and you don't know it, that means the death rate's lower. But that also means that it spreads more. If you're going to use one factor of this to try to prop up your belief system, that's fine, but that means it has a consequence. If it doesn't spread without being known, then it may have a high death rate, but then it's not getting to everybody. If you're claiming everybody's going to get it anyway, these are not really good arguments. But anyway, someone's assertion, and I'm replying to them. The reason most conservatives are fighting against COVID-19 so hard is that they are terrified the government crackdown taking our rights away. You're not being oppressed, you're being told to stay home. This is having an effect on our economy. That's real. But the reason I'm going to be responding to this really quickly here is it's not just conservatives, it's all sorts of people, but I'm seeing a particular group of people, specifically conservatives, people who are politically motivated conservatives in this country, have decided to embrace the idea of ignoring something that they know better about. But let's go on with the rest of the assertion here. Think about it. This is the absolute perfect excuse for the government to do whatever they want. Think about it. Forced vaccination with possible vaccination, digital ID merged into one. Okay. Why are you invoking this? Why? Do you really not understand that it's very, very hard, virtually impossible to inject any kind of RFID or digital material into a person? You know that, right? Well, I saw somebody talking about it, and everybody's going to decide to do that. And then the meme really does break down when you say, are you talking about someone unknowingly doing this or volunteering for it? Because I see people playing both sides of this. Explain to me how this would be capable of being done without us knowing it. And then they invoke chemtrails and some other meme and some other conspiracy theory instead of a rational conversation. Keeping track of people. Contact tracing? Yeah, that's a thing. People opt in for it by downloading the app and deciding they want to opt in so that they can try to help themselves and others. This has actually been done before. This is not the first time. This isn't a new thing. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Let's continue. They could even pass bills to remove children and family from their homes who tested positive. People who, when afraid, will give up every last single right for the promise of security. Not wanting your grandmother to die isn't a cowardly behavior you're making it out to be. Those who will give up liberty, that's not what's going on here. You're demanding that this is some absolutely over-the-top thing. Okay, let's continue. The fear is thick and clouds people's judgment, and conservatives are the only ones speaking about it. No. So are the liberals. We're telling you not to be scared. You're the ones who are scared. No one else has to be scared. No one has to be scared of this. We don't. The majority of what we're having a problem with is the effect we're having to have on it. We have to get rid of this damn thing. And the only way to do that really effectively is to make it to where it cannot spread. And hope that temperature change and the seasonal changes will kill it. And if it doesn't, at least slow it down to the point that we can get ahead of it. That's empowering. You guys are laying on the ground squealing like pigs about how you're being tormented. Even if COVID-19 death rate was 20%, I would be against the lockdown. I would never give up my rights or freedoms for the promise of security. By the way, I used that as the title of the video and got flagged for it. I'm addressing this person's commentary directly, and I get flagged for it. Because YouTube lies. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's see if we can get some time here to do that. I will never give up my rights or freedoms for the promise of security. Okay. Cool. Then you do not get a military preventing you from being harassed or harmed by terrorists. Or the police doing it. You don't get the government protecting you. Because it's a violation of your rights. Because the things that they have to do in the United States to prevent you from being able to be harmed is things like at the airport trying to keep people from bringing bombs in or bringing freaking box cutters on an airplane. Hasn't done shit, but that's what the effort was. Okay, they should stop doing it. You want that to be done. Cool. I don't want to live in the country you want to live in because I don't want it to be that easy for terrorism to happen again. The least we can do is at least trying to make sure what happened that day doesn't happen again. If the government keeps pushing this lockdown, destroying people's lives, it could lead to civil war. I like how all of you scream really loudly that you're willing to shoot other people in my country, but you're not willing to actually save their lives. When you guys say civil war, you talk about killing people you don't like. You know, I really... You're not going to be able to get past that interpretation of it. Nobody ever yells civil war except that they want to kill somebody. You're not trying to get rid of the government. You're trying to get rid of liberals. People are losing businesses, going homeless. Even our food supply is in jeopardy. Why can a densely populated Walmart be open while, as an example, a hair salon practicing social distancing, letting only customers appointment, blah, 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 are not essential and it is utter madness? Because getting your hair done is not essential business. Walmart provides food and goods that are used on the daily by people. Any place that can provide me hand sanitizing type wipes so I can have them is a godsend because I do need them. I have a medical need for them because I have a strong affinity for getting staph infections that can kill me. And that is extremely scary for me. That's a real way I can die. And a hair salon doesn't have them. I love my coffee shops, but they're not essential. Shutting down as much of the society as possible while crippling us the least is the point. But it was us, the people, not us, the business universe. Yes, I don't like that all the small and medium-sized businesses are getting fucked. That's not helping anything. I agree with you. But a hair salon isn't fucking necessary. Because it's not. Learn to cut your own hair. Take care of your own hair. People have done it for literally thousands of years. That's a really shitty example. You do not quarantine healthy people. Yes, you do. That is actually something you do. Because in this case, the healthy people are able to transfer it. By the way, I don't know if you understand this, but that's also the same thing that happens with head colds. There is a long incubation time for certain varieties of rhinoviruses and head cold-inducing coronaviruses. And yes, you do. If you were trying to keep the common cold from happening, you would. We're just being forced to do it because instead of it just being a head cold, it actually kills people now. It's just as contagious. And again, if you're going to claim there's more people or less people being counted or whatever meme you're going to do, you're eventually going to come around to the idea that, oh, well, it's not deadly. Well, if it's not deadly, that means it has a high infection rate, which means it still spreads like crazy. You can't make it to where it has a very low death rate, but it's not really communicable. If you're playing odds like that, you're going to have to stop lying about what causes them. Our gross DP has dropped 38%. Estimated 1 in 5 small businesses will not open after the lockdown ends. This lockdown has to end. But every single time anybody who's an expert tells you how to do this, to take the shortest period of time, all of you just say, and individual states and counties and cities and our president have said, I don't care if we can make it only take 1 month. I'm going to resist and fight and be a contrarian for 3. Which means it takes 3 months instead of taking 1. Donald Trump said that this would only take a month if everybody did what they were supposed to. They did not. We're all at fault for making it take longer. I'm sorry, but it's like when someone won't admit they made a simple mistake and they sit on the stand for 6 weeks, just basically vindictively wasting everybody's time instead of saying, yes, I made a mistake, I misspoke, I'm sorry, and then we can continue with the rest of the court case or continue with the rest of your interview. Or if you're being disciplined at work, if you keep pushback going, it doesn't end. You're put on administrative leave unpaid until you acknowledge you made a mistake. It would have taken 2 seconds to admit and make a mistake. Our country made a mistake and didn't acknowledge it, and now we're fucked. We're pouting in a corner and bitching instead of taking our medicine and fixing things. This is what's happened. The United States is not a grown-up country because Tide Pods. It's violating people's rights. Again. Okay, anyway. Government stated lockdown would only last 2 weeks. No. The President of the United States and certain flunkies said that. Everybody else said it'll take as long as it takes unless everybody does it at once and does it effectively. Everyone says, well, I'm going to be a little pissy bitch and go to a bar, go to a party. And then they have outbreak happen over the time. Walmart sells TV. I'm skipping you. Okay, now I'm going to get to the end of the video here by doing something maybe useful at the 13:55 mark. Okay? All right. YouTube's first statement to me when I turned on this channel was, hi, we need to have a verification phone number for you. This is their blanket response when something's wrong. This is like the glitch in the Matrix when the cat repeats it. It's one of those things. Next thing, we've reviewed your video. No, you didn't. The website itself and Google itself have acknowledged that they don't review videos anymore. The bot's in charge. This chronic habit of just lying to us is very tiring, and that's intentional. Then they implemented, suddenly they can do that, force fucking everybody into using the new user interface that takes twice as long to load everything and hides all the controls and features. And more importantly, makes it harder to use the website in general. They had plenty of time to do that. Corporate doesn't care. It'll keep doing this. It's to beat you into submission. Resist. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.